Yo, what's up? What's good? Welcome back to the Legacy Lounge. We got Miss Helena Jones in the building tonight. We ain't acting like she nervous.
She is, CJ. She is. She gonna calm down.
We just gonna talk, man. After a while, the cameras ain't even rolling. But first of all, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being patient with us. We tried, we tried yesterday, man. We had a little bit of a power outage. Yeah,
it all worked out. It all worked out.
Thanks for being patient, because I talked to you months ago about coming on, and we've been trying to find our way. So thanks for,
I'm watching the flow. I'm loving the flow. So, I was just waiting on my turn.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're watching you too. Hence the reason why we have you here. I like to give flowers at the beginning, because I don't know who's going to stop watching. So they always going to watch the beginning. Some people turn it off in the middle or the end or whatever, but I like to give flowers at the beginning. I want to start with an actual story. So I've known you my whole life, but I would say how we connected. So it was, and anything I say wrong, please correct me.
Gotcha.
But it was 2020. George Floyd was murdered. There was a huge Black Lives Matter push. Like that was, I'll be honest, that's what was popular. Like saying Black Lives Matter. Like that's what was popular. Through that, the NAACP was reforming. We're gonna get into all of that. It was reforming in the city, but specifically, I'm at work. I never forget. I'm at work. I'm on my phone, and you're in front of the courthouse, and you got a megaphone
that I bought.
You had a megaphone, and you was saying, what was you saying?
You matter. All lives matter. You matter to me. Your family matters to me. What happens to you matters to me. What happens to your children matters to me. Because I thought it was important that everybody knew that, yes, Black Lives Matter. I know that. I'm Black. My kids is Black. So that goes without saying. I needed you to know that all lives matter, because if I believe your life matter, maybe you'll start thinking mine does too. And if more people thought like that, and it wasn't just me, which turned out it wasn't just me, then I think that, the world will be a better place, and we won't get so bottled down with Black Lives Matter, Asian lives matter, LGBTQ lives matter. Of course they do. They're human. We're all human beings. Human life matters. So that's all I really wanted to get out. And everybody didn't like it, but, I
was about to ask you that. Like, how was that received from Black people in general?
For the most part, they were very, very supportive. I think that there were a select few that didn't really get with it. One in particular, and I won't name him because that's not necessary. He knows who he is. Came up to me while I was out there. Now, mind you, it's hot. It's hot.
Summertime. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And I'm out there from the time the courthouse opens until the time the courthouse closes every single day. So I don't even know what day this was that he said something, but he came up and he said, it's great that you're out here and blase skip and whoop de whoop de wop wop, but don't you think you sent in a mixed message with your sign and was saying all lives, because I had a sign also that said all lives matter, and it was like, don't you think you sent in a mixed message and whoop de whoop de wop de wop? And for a split second, because of who he was and because of the title he had held and because of what people think of him in this town and what I think of him, for a split second I was intimidated. Put my little funny sign down. Started saying other stuff instead of saying that. I told him he was right, and and I went on about my business. And then, like, about 3 seconds later, Helena woke up and came back and was like, "Girl, you don't play that. You know what you meant. You said what you said, and you meant what you said. All lives matter." And got my sign and started preaching. So, and that was that. But no, everybody didn't like it. There was even some like weird stuff. To me, it was weird stuff. It was something that any and everybody could have did. I wanted that. I wanted us all. I told them the very first day, it was because the young man that got killed down by the Legion is the only reason I started it. I understood what had happened with Mr. Floyd. I understood that. And I understood that people were protesting all over the place. And I didn't feel like that was my fight. There was a young man out in front of the courthouse one day. I went in there to get a title. And he out there and he got this live going and he out there, and I'm like, I'm not going to say what I called him because he's no longer here. So, that was just something that it was a nickname that he had. And I asked him what he was doing, and he said, protesting. I'm a one-man protest. I said, well, power to the people, my brother, and went into the courthouse. I came out and I did whatever I did, and I told him have a great day and all this stuff. And then the very next day I woke up and he was gone. He had been killed down by the Legion.
I want to say his name. I'm going to say his real name.
Go ahead.
So it was Jerron Williams. And I'm glad you said that, because I remember in the same office watching him on live. He was
The
on
day
Facebook
before.
Live.
Yeah.
One man army. He was by himself in front of their courthouse.
Yep. He made me do it.
I forgot about that.
Because I was not thinking of doing that at the time. I was driving a cab for my cousin because I needed some income because I had taken on some grandkids for a different reason, and we'll talk about that, I guess, when we get to it. I wasn't expecting to do that, and when I woke up and he was gone, and I knew the changes he was trying to make in his life, and I saw it happening, and I knew the struggles he had with everything. You know, I've watched him for years. I've seen him. I'm from this town. It's my city, so I know everybody, and I knew that he was turning the corner. And I've seen it so many times before him. When you get to try to turn the corner, and right before you turn the corner, it's a motherfucking brick wall that take you out. And that's what happened to him. So I felt compelled, and I didn't know why, but I felt compelled when I woke up to quit. I called Ray and said, hey, I can't drive the cab no more. Something tells me I need to go out and protest. I need to finish what he started. He started this, and for some reason, I feel the need to have to go and finish it. So I did. I told my kids, we made signs that day, and I went out there that very day. Quit my job that day and went right on out there.
That's powerful. And I don't want to shortchange what you were actually doing. So when she says she was out there from the time the courthouse opened until it closed, she was out there. When I tell you she was, I don't care who walked past, white, Asian, black, tall, short, fat, skinny, your life matters. I'm watching you on my phone, and I want to be there with you. And this is before I'm doing anything as far as being active in the city. I'm not doing anything. I'm just literally watching. But I'm watching you. You're taking a different stance because everybody's screaming Black Lives Matter, but you're telling people their lives matter. But you're relentless. Like, you're out there every day, and there's some day I see you. I think your friends was out there with you. A couple people came down there and joined you.
People brought water to me. People brought food to me. I got sunburned. Didn't know black people got sunburned. I got sunburned out there. I did it for 2 weeks straight. I made some strides in doing that, and I felt like I had did him justice. You know, I had finished what he was trying to start, and I wanted him to know I see you. And that was the very first moment that I started actually seeing people. He helped me to see. So in pain comes so much, and I didn't know that. But in pain and in loss and in tragedy and in trauma, it builds so much in a person that's still here if they decide to use it, because we all got it. If you decide to use it, it builds you to a point that you don't believe it yourself. Because you could not tell me in 2019, in 2020, that I would be sitting here in 2025 with my own business, have created a nonprofit organization, that I'm still even living and breathing, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. That I'm even still, because I didn't want to. I thought when I lost my daughter, put me in the ground too. You know, you see them old movies and they be like, Lord, why take me? No, for real. I was like, Lord, take me too. Right here, right now, this second. Take me. I can't breathe. I don't know how to breathe. When I say pain and trauma and loss will bring you to a point of realization, will bring you to a point of purpose, I see it now. Jerron did that for me, just like Pam did.
What year did you lose Pam?
2019.
And so you came back after Pam passed?
No, I came back before. Pam got sick. She got diagnosed January 3rd. She had went to the hospital in December of 2018. And she was going through some classes and working, so she really didn't want to miss work or didn't want to miss class. So she kind of put her health on the back burner and ignored some stuff. Really and truthfully, it didn't matter by then. But she did, and she ended up falling out, and she went to the hospital, and, you know, I was living in Baltimore at the time.
Okay.
So I came home. They did a little, you know, they was like, oh, we're going to do a little testing and this, that, and the other. She used to get kidney infections all the time. So we just figured, you know, stop drinking so much pop, you know, and this, that, and the other. So they did a biopsy. What they thought they were going to do, they thought it was a cyst and they were going to drain it. And when they went in, it was brick hard. So they just cut a piece of it off, took it, sent it out. So I went, got her out the hospital. We did Christmas. I goes back to Baltimore. January 3rd, she calls me. I'm in a meeting. At the time, I'm an assistant general manager at the Country Inn and Suites in Lithicum. So I'm doing a morning meeting with my housekeepers before I send them on off, right? And Pam calls and I ignore it. She call again. So I step out. She's screaming. She's hysterical. She can't catch her breath. I'm like, you gotta calm down. I can't understand you. Only thing she could tell me is it's cancer. And the only thing I could say is we fight. Okay, we fight. I'm on my way. I left work, gathered myself, went and got my son from school. We came back, shot back. So after that, it was just, I would come home. They gave us a prognosis that none of us paid attention to. I'm telling you, I don't know what that man said. But now that I go back, he told us the truth and nobody listened. None of us wanted to hear shit he had to say. We stayed in the fight. I'm talking about till beginning to end, we stayed in the fight. They started aggressive chemo. She would do 6.5 hours of chemo every time we went. And we went every 4 weeks. So I would go home for 3 weeks and I would stay here the whole week of chemo. Because the first day would be cool, but like day 2, day 3, day 4 was crazy. And she needed help. She lived alone. She had them kids. She had 4 kids.
Right.
Her dude was locked up. The other kid's daddy was locked up. So she was, by herself or whatever. So I would and she my kid, so I would come home. And then it got to a point that wasn't enough. She would need me when I'm not here. She would call me. The kids was running outside. The kids is doing this and she can't do nothing. So I came home. I made a decision to move back, to bring her back to health. So I thought.
I asked you what year she passed. And the reason why I asked you is because you mentioned the impact that Jerron's death had on you. But do you think you're sitting here right now with all of those things you name, entrepreneur, thriving, making a huge impact in the city that you grew up with, if he don't pass?
No, I believe your purpose is your purpose. Mm-hmm. I believe through your pain you find it. For some. For me, that's how it was. Because my purpose has always been my purpose. I just never tapped into it. I've been always living it, a little bit here, a little bit there, but never really tapped into it. So I wouldn't say no, but he definitely catapulted me in.
Like a spark.
Yeah, he definitely he helped me to get up.
I listen when you talk. I always listen when you talk. I think you're a very powerful speaker.
Thank you.
And something that stood out when you were, I don't know when you were talking, it might have just been a casual conversation because, you command the room when you talk. You talked about not being able to get up after you lost your daughter. You didn't want to get up. Like you didn't want to live, it was a hard time, obviously. That's why I asked you about Jerron, because I remember you saying, like, I had to get up. You got up, you had the megaphone and, you was out in the city. But I remember you saying, like, I had to get up.
Because I couldn't. And I knew if I continued the way that I was doing, I was going to die. Because that's what I wanted to do. So I knew that I would eventually, even though I didn't believe in suicide, and all that, and I knew I wanted to see Pam again. I knew that I wanted to be in heaven and all that. So it wasn't that, it was just that the pain was so great. Like I didn't understand how I was supposed to wake up every single day and she not be here. I did not understand how I had to visit her at her gravesite. And how her kids had to grow up the same exact way me and my brothers did. Because we lost our mom when I was 5, immediately after she had Brandon. It was just a lot. It was a lot, and I didn't want to nor know how to get up. But I also did not want to be the chick that they said she ain't been right since. I ain't want to be her. I didn't, but I didn't know how to not. I didn't know how to not. So the first thing I did was I started a grief group called the Get Up Initiative.
And that was in Steubenville? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Operated right out of the Sycamore Center.
Okay.
And it was just for women who were grieving. And it didn't have to be your kid. It could have been whatever, your husband, your boyfriend, your aunt, your mother, your father, whatever. What I do know is Pam opened me up to seeing other women's trauma and live life in a state of trauma, in a state of turmoil, in a state of pain. But you still got to go to work. You still got to pay the bills. You still got to take care of the kids. You still got to go to this. The man still want this and this, that, and the other. And, life still moves, even though it's not going on for you. You're operating from a place of trauma, and it looks ugly a lot of the time. Kids go unnoticed, so that means they feel unloved, unwanted, unappreciated. You already done lost. Why you gotta lose me too? So I didn't want that for me, and I wanted to change it for the women that was here, that was dealing with it. But my pain was too great. I shouldn't have been the one trying to facilitate it.
So
that was the problem.
The grief group, you mean it just wasn't the right time for it?
It wasn't the right time for it because I was the facilitator.
You needed to be attending.
And I needed to be sitting right there with them with the snotting and, you know what I mean, the laying back and all that. I needed to be right there with them. I didn't need to be somewhere trying to educate somebody on something I'm going through right now. You can't be no educator if you ain't been through nothing. If you ain't grown through it, how the hell am I supposed to educate you on something that I am right here in the trenches with you? It makes no sense. Now, what I can do is hold your hand and rock shoulder to shoulder with you. I can do that. But I ain't got no business trying to educate you. So it didn't flourish the way that it should have at that time. It's still there. It's still there.
We're going to get into everything you're doing, but I do want to ask, because I know you're raising her children. Mm-hmm. How do they do with... I mean, I know the boys. I know Harlem in my era. I coached them in football. And how do they deal with the trauma compared to how you and your brothers dealt with it?
Well, for one, they're all together. Me and my brothers immediately got separated.
Okay.
And we did not get back together again until we were teenagers. Well, at least I was a teenager and Malcolm was. But we spun our lives apart. So they already ahead of the game. And there was someone who loves them. If anyone could love them close to their mother, it would be me. Nobody else besides her could love them more than I do. So I guess their dads too. That's wrong to say. I mean, they do got dads. But I knew that they needed to feel love because all my life, that's all I ever wanted was somebody to love me. And it showed up in and I mean friend love. I'm talking about mom love, dad love, cousin, just anybody, just somebody, anybody, please love me. That's all I ever really wanted. And I lacked it a lot and I had it a lot. But because I was so messed up, I didn't understand good love, bad love, tainted love, toxic love. It all just was meshed in one big ball.
Love is love.
Yeah, it was just however I can get it, however it go. However I can give it away is how it go. So yeah, they have that. They have someone who's gonna be there consistently, and I ain't going nowhere. Even on the days I be like, y'all can pack your bags. You know what I mean? Because I'm still me. I'm still lean no matter what. Even 51-year-old lean is the same when it comes to the kids. So they have something that we didn't have, and I'm grateful for them. And I have something too. I have them. I have 4 extensions of Pam because I swear Keziah looks just like her. She does her hair, she looks just like her. She puts a pink coat on, she looks just like her. Like, she just looks like her to me. So, yeah.
So where do you find your strength? Because we could be honest. I know every day ain't, lean, jump out of bed and get the day started. I couldn't imagine. So on the days where, you don't feel like lean, like how do you find your strength?
See, that's the thing. On those days that I ain't lean and I ain't got no strength, I don't look for it. You know what I mean? I give it to somebody else. I have a real good support system. Like, my kids are amazing kids. Like, I really have some great, amazing kids, and I have a really great circle of people that I surround myself with. So I don't try to find strength where there ain't none. I just don't. There's days that I can't breathe. My heart hurts so bad. I can't get up. I can't think. I can't walk. I'm paralyzed and can't go outside, and I let that day be that day. That's the thing. I allow myself to be wherever I'm at any given moment, and there's strength in that. There's strength in allowing yourself to be weak when you need to be. There is times that I just can't be strong. I just can't. I lost my fucking kid and watched her go. Got in the bed with her. I was in a bed with her. You feel me? The same way that I was in a bed with her when she came here, I was in the bed with her when she took that last breath. No, I'm not gonna be strong sometimes. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being weak when I need to. I'm gonna try not to cry real hard and ugly through this thing, but these tears keep welling, y'all.
You're doing good. I don't want to, because we're gonna laugh and we're gonna.
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna do all of that too. But Pam is an important part of you.
Yeah.
You know what? And I do want to say this. I want to say this. Because I've always thought this, and I've never said it to anybody, but not everybody is liked. That's just not reality.
Right.
You hear bad things about people, sometimes even after they go. Pam had an impact that, I mean, from different circles of friends and white, black, old, young.
Yeah. Everywhere she went.
Pretty. I mean, like, you know, just the way people talk about her now, like she made a huge impact on people, like large.
But Pam was loving, Pam was caring, Pam was funny, you know. Pam was giving you my shirt off your back, you know. Pam was, you want me to go with you, we'll try to knock her out. Pam, you can't fight, but we'll try to knock her out, you know. Pam was like, you know, you wanted me to ride or die with you. She was just everything. She was my best friend. She was the first friend I ever had.
You can tell, and I didn't know her like that, but I can tell the way she lived from the impact of the legacy that she left, the legacy beyond the kids, from friends. And,
for facts.
you know, family always going to, you know, family is always going to mourn, but the impact that she had on her friends and her friends' friends. I remember they had the benefit down the Spot Bar for her, and I just remember the turnout. Like it was so much love.
And she was so... Oh, she was so happy that night. She was in so much pain that night, but she was like, man, I'm staying. I'm having a good time. I can't believe all these people came. She just couldn't believe all of it. You know, she was in awe of everybody, and she was so grateful, and she's such a grateful person. She just was, man, Pam was the shit. Pam was the shit, and the world lost a good one. You know, she did what she come to do. That's evident, because she ain't here. So she did what she came to do. And I'm grateful for the 29 years. You know, I'm grateful for the friendship. I'm grateful for the love. I'm grateful for the lessons. You know, she was the first person who ever loved me unconditionally, and she stayed that way. She never switched up. She was solid, no shake. And I miss my friend.
Well, R.I.P. to Pam.
For sure.
I applaud your courage. First of all, you was already nervous, but to get on here and hold it together, you know, talking about your daughter that you lost, I applaud that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you
for you know, for allowing me to ask those questions. And I wasn't trying to make you cry, but
okay.
I'm over here almost crying myself. I'm emotional. The older I get emotional. I got three daughters, man. I can't help it.
But it's good to see that. We need to know that our protector, our provider, our strong black man is willing to cry with someone to show his empathy. You know, they need to know that my dad cries. You know what I mean? That's not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of just showing a well-rounded person. For too many years, we tried not to be well-rounded. And too many years, we weren't allowed to be well-rounded. So then once we weren't allowed, and then we got all angry, and then we stayed that way, and then we got in all this and then in all that, men stopped crying.
When you say we're not allowed, I want you to explain what you mean.
We were slaves. We was, you know, I was mastering them. We wasn't allowed to have real emotions. We weren't allowed to cry. You guys definitely couldn't. You better not. You'd be somewhere with your foot chopped off or you know, your back all toe up. So for many years, we wasn't allowed to show our emotions. So we suppressed them. So we were very good at that. We were very good at masking. And through the years, it didn't do that but make us angry. We got real angry for a while.
And it's a generational curse. Actually, it's a perfect segue. It's a perfect transition. Because I don't think people look at it as a generational curse. And what I mean by that is, being able to express your emotions. So as a boy, and then those same boys harbor those feelings to where they end up hurting themselves or they hurt somebody else because they don't have an outlet. Speak when spoken to. You know,
Yeah.
Why? Because I said so.
Do as I say and not as I do.
That's it. We weren't given a why.
Yeah.
We weren't given an explanation. It was because I said so, which caused confusion, you know, and because that's how your mom or your grandma, whoever raised you, then that's how you raised your kids.
Right.
And then we wondering why we not making any headway or making any changes is because of.
And then too, we sort of kind of lightweight lie to ourselves. We justify some of the stuff we do, some of the stuff we allow our children to do, some of the places we allow them to go, you know, some of the stuff we allow them to watch, some of the stuff we allow them to wear. So we kind of justify all of that and then wonder why they are how they are. We can't wonder. I couldn't wonder how my daughters and my sons wanted to hang out, wanted to drink, wanted to smoke weed, wanted to be reckless. I couldn't act like I didn't know where that came from. It came from me and their daddy. You know, we was wild and reckless. And that's all I showed them. So if that's all you see, you're going to do what you see. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yep.
And that was that. And now that we're trying to do things differently in life and have a better perspective, I don't know, we got woke. You know, they had that saying, you know, we have all these different movements that we got woke. Mm-hmm. And I mean, everybody's scared we woke. Everybody's scared black people woke. Because once all we need to do is get woke and get collective.
Preaching.
Get woke and get collective. The problem with us getting collective is we still have a mentality that says, I can't do what CJ doing because CJ doing it. CJ ain't doing nothing right if he ain't asking me to do it too. You know what I'm saying? We can't get away from that putting each other against each other. And I think that we all, I mean, I'm talking about it's embedded in us. And I don't think it's just, you know, some haters. I think we all have hate. I think we all a little haterish. You know, I could see somebody doing something and I'd be like, nah, they wasn't thinking about doing that. You know what I mean? Although, now mind you, I'm going to hate for a second, but then after that, I'm going to try to assist you, or I'm going to plug and play you, or whatever I can do. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have hate. I don't want to think that you can't eat and win, and if you eat and win, I can't eat and win. That's not how it is. White folks will be at a table with 9 white folks and can't stand 8 of them. They getting money. And when everybody get up from that table, they go to where they go. They ain't got to sit in the hot tub together, but they gonna get that money at that table together. We always talking about, if they ain't a seat at a table, then go create you one. Nah, push them over. I deserve to be at this table. We got to be at one collective table. Because if we all keep going to go make these tables, they don't never fit together. They don't never fit together. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, that's something that I say.
No, you're right on time. You're right on time. You're right on time with the that everybody got a little bit of hate in them, and the secret animosity, and you know everything's a competition. Like, you know, there's a blueprint. Like you know, somebody else has done everything has been done under the sun. You know, somebody else has done it. There's a lot of times. I'm so glad you said this, that in my head, I have to talk myself out of it. I'd be like, man, now they wasn't thinking about doing that. And then it's like, you know, it's the
good devil.
Yes. And the good one, like, bro, come on, man. Like, everybody can eat. And that's, but in those split moments, just being vulnerable, being honest, like, those thoughts creep in. Like,
and you're allowed to have those thoughts. You're human. You know what I mean? If we wasn't allowed to do so much stuff, there wouldn't have been no commandments. We're allowed to do whatever we want. We got freedom of choice. He gave us that. So you're allowed to have those fleeting moments. Just don't act on them. And if you do, clean it up. You know, we all fall short. We fallible. We was born that way. So don't hold yourself to a standard of, I don't make mistakes, or I can't clean that up. You can clean anything up that you've ever done as long as there's breath. Where there's breath, there's hope. If you ain't here, you can't clean shit up. But if you here, there's nothing that you can't turn around, fix, do better, learn from. And some stuff you just gonna have to let it be where it be. You know, everybody who I done wronged in my life don't want to see me coming and saying I'm sorry. They like, get out my face. Remember that one time at Bad Cash? Leave me alone. So I get it.
When we first started talking, you said you never thought you would be, but then you start naming things that you're currently involved in. I want to get into that. I want to, what's Lean doing nowadays? You mentioned entrepreneur. What's going on?
So I started a transportation service here in Steubenville, local taxi service called Heavenly Rides Transportation Service. It was already in existence prior to. My cousin owned it. He retired the business. Somebody I was going to church with was like, yo, we should start a cab company. I'm like, yo, that's dope. I ain't got no job. I just got fired. So that's what we did. It turned out that it just ended up being me. So, so I started that. It was something that the community needed. We don't have Lyft and we don't have Uber. And we need transportation. Everybody doesn't have a car. Everybody doesn't have a license. Older people need to get to the doctors. They need to get their appointments. So, that's what I did. I started that.
How did they get a hold of you?
Oh, so you can call us at 740-219-3509, Heavenly Rides Transportation Service. Our website will be up the 1st of February, so look for that. We have a Facebook page, Heavenly Rides Transportation Service. And, I'm in the city. Hit me up. You know me.
You got like hours of operation?
Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Take my last call at 9:30.
There y'all go.
So it don't get no better than that. Closed on Sundays. You got to give Lord his time.
So I think it's dope. First of all, because of the reasons you stated, we don't have Uber, we don't have Lyft. Some people, the buses, that's a whole nother thing. But it's important for elderly and people without license who just can't get around. And you're helping our people.
And to be honest, they helping me so much. When this first started, what I knew was I wanted to be of service. My purpose is being of service to others. And if I can't do that, then I can't breathe. It's just that simple. That's what my purpose is being of service. So I knew that I wanted it to be of service, but it needed to be able to support my family as well. And I wanted my prices not to be like everybody else's. And they have not changed yet. And I have a business mentor, and she is like on me about, raising my prices. And we talked yesterday, and I said I just might. But I slept on it. I gave it to God, and I'm okay with where it's at. I'm not raising my prices. This is something that I decided to do for this community and for my family. My brother wrote a book and said that, in his book, he said that the value is in the people. I believe that wholeheartedly. The value is in the people. The money will come. I value the people. And because of that, doors is opening. They opening like crazy. And there's some other things I'm about to do with transportation. Because I don't want to just be a cab. Like, we do cab services. We do weekly rates for people going to work, going to school. I take your kids to school. People don't always feel safe with your kid in the cab. But they feel safe with me and my drivers, because I'm not going to have them in harm's way or anything like that. So, yeah, we do a lot of that. But there's a lot of other things with transportation that's needed around here. I'm not going to give all my stuff away. But so there's some things that I want to do specifically for our brothers that's locked up, our sick and shut in, our veterans, our people in the hospitals. So there's some specific things that is coming down the line for Heavenly Rides. So stay tuned.
You said before we start rolling, like, you never know who's watching. This was a couple of days ago. Somebody had made a Facebook post, and they were asking about buses going to Harding, I believe. I don't want to misrepresent, but it was something like that. It was something about transportation. And you jumped on the post, like, basically like, hello. They were honest, like, man, I'm messed up right now. Like, I ain't got the money right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you was like, nah, I'm coming.
And went.
I'm watching, and I'm like, that's just dope to me. That's what I strive to be. That's why I inspire to be, someone of service. I see you jump into action. You know what I mean? And the cab service is enough, but, you just said you slept on it, you didn't raise your rates, and you out here being human.
But check
helping
this out.
People.
You being of service right now. Every episode, you're being of service. You're serving the person that's sitting over here, and you're serving the masses, and you're serving your own spirit. So we all serve. We just do it in different capacities. And some of us do it for, accolades. Some of us do it just because it's who we are. It's who I figured out I am. I love service. I love being of service in any way that I can. What I do realize is my grief overshadows everything that I try to do a lot of the time. That's my barrier.
What do you mean?
Woe is me. I lost my daughter. I got to raise these kids. Because I got resentments, too. Don't get me wrong. I have resentments with everything that went down with Pam. Everything. I have resentments with her, with myself, with raising kids again. I'm 51 years old. I did this already. I've had kids since I was 15 years old. So I've done this already. So I have those resentments. And I don't get upset at myself for them. Because once I speak them, they no longer have that power to just fester. And now I'm looking at these kids, and now I'm this, and now I'm that. Nah, I speak it. I have resentments. I don't want to do this. This is not something I am doing by choice. This is what's necessary for my family. I love my family wholeheartedly with everything that I am. They are what I breathe for. It was a no-brainer. There was no other way I could do anything else. Yeah, I don't do it. I do it kicking and screaming.
That's real.
I do it kicking and screaming.
That's real. That's real though. That's 100% real.
Yeah, I just couldn't see it any other way. And I love the fact that we can support each other in stuff like this. Like there's this group at the and there's so many resources here, and part of the problem is and this is probably not going to be well received by everyone, but it's just my truth. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody has a way that they see things. So this is just how I see things. The people that have the resources and know of the resources and can aid people in the resources, give it to who they want. Tell who they want. Don't tell nobody else until all they people can get it and see about it. Or take it for themselves. People in those positions are dead ass wrong for that. Y'all dead wrong for that. You know, I'm dead wrong if I go sign up for a food basket and I know I got $800 worth of food stamps. Why am I going to sign up for the food basket for Thanksgiving? I just took that away from a whole nother family. So we all have the capabilities of like just doing service and just being human decent. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've been broke all our life. Yeah, we live from a poverty mindset because that's all we really know. Yeah, I was born on welfare. When I was born, my mom had the medical card and food stamps. You know, when all my kids was born, I had the medical card and food stamps. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I want my grandkids to know. That's not how I want them to think life is supposed to be. You get and use any resource that you can because you need it. But the moment that you don't need it, you let that shit go and let somebody else have that. Get out the way. Move out the way. And when you have those resources, give them away. You can only keep what you have by giving it away. I was in Narcotics Anonymous for 3 years. So I love that. I love that you can only keep what you have by giving it away. Give that shit away. It don't belong to you. Most of the people that's keeping it to themselves, it don't belong to you. It's the government giving it away for real. You just got the secret. You got the sauce and you know the recipe. Give it away. And that way, more of us can win. You know, anything I know, if you think I know it, ask me. If I don't know it, we'll go find somebody that do. But if you think I know the answer to that question, ask me. If you see me doing something, you like, damn, I want to know how to do it, ask me.
And she ain't lying. It was some type of small business seminar.
Entrepreneur incubator.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna let you go into it, but you sent me a message. They were offering, I think it was a small loan or something like that, or maybe not a loan. I'll let you get into it, but there was money involved. Mm-hmm. There was money involved for small businesses, and you sent me a message, like, put it out there. Exactly what you're saying. Like, all right, I got this sauce. You got an audience here. Put this out there.
And don't you know, I put that out there for so many, because there's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in Steubenville. I'm talking about the streets is flooded with them. Everybody got business. And I told it to any and everybody I knew. We didn't fill the room.
What was it?
It was Huntington Bank does something. They have a Seeds for Growth event. And in that event, they bring in all different type of resources, Huntington-based. So there was people from Huntington Bank there, and they talked about financial literacy. There were people there from Pennsylvania's African American Chamber of Commerce. They have their own Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. Western Pennsylvania. Freaked me out. Didn't know nothing about it. So they were there. There were vendors there. There was just a lot of workshops, little mini workshops, and information that was given, and people that wanted to help you in your journey, no matter where you're at, even if it's just an idea, because everything starts with an idea, and you ain't got to have $1 to have an idea. You ain't have to have $1 to write a business plan. You don't have to have $1 to get your business going. You just have to have a passion, a desire, and do it. You know, you got to put some action to it. You can't just sit on the couch. We talked about that when we were sitting around. You can't just sit on the couch. You got to get up off the couch and move. So it was that event. And then they were also offering 4 mini grants for showing up, really and truthfully. They gave you a little question. You filled out the answer. You know, what would you do if you won this money? You filled out your answer. You put it in a box. That's all you had to do. They picked the name. Baby, I got my $500.
How'd you get hip?
I used to work for an entrepreneur incubator. And in that, you know, I learned a lot of stuff and met a lot of people. So when I decided to start a business, I went back, and it was crazy that I did, but I know a good thing when I see it. I went back to the same entrepreneur incubator that fired me and asked them, could I be a participant? I said, I'm a community person. I got a small business. Can y'all help me? And they did. And I had to humble myself.
That's dope.
Listen, though. I had to, like, I'm walking around the house talking to myself. I'm humbling myself. Because I don't want to call her, because she done fired me.
They fired you.
And I think that I'm the ghost with the most, you know what I mean? And when she fired me, she didn't just take that away from me, because that wasn't a big deal to me. to me, she took away everything I had just built. My standing in the community. In my mind, now mind you, I went through some things, but mind you, I operate from a place of trauma and grief. I'm not well, so most of my thinking is thinking. So I felt like she had took everything away from me, and how dare her when I helped build this up to what it is here in Steubenville. You would have been one and done if it wasn't for me. And that's how I felt, and that's just my truth, it really is. And I know it's ignorant to say, but that was just my truth. So I didn't want to have to kowtow and go back to her for her help, but I knew that the program works. If you do it, I know that there's some kinks that need to be worked out, but the program works. If you are diligent about what you want to do, you can get that help. Now, you might have to force them sometimes to do what they need to do right, but you can get that help that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford.
Right.
You would not be able to afford your own accountant. You would not be able to afford your own attorney to write up your contracts for you and to do your business plan and teach you how to do projections and all the things that we got from that program. You can't learn on your own. You can't do on your own. You can, but it would have been most difficult and try to start a business. So when I went back to her, I allowed myself, I just texted her, was like, yo, would you consider, letting me be a client? And she jumped right on it. I would be honored. Not only would I want you to be a client, I want to be your coach. I want to be your business coach. And she is. That's my coach.
Were you an entrepreneur prior to getting fired?
No. I just helped other people do it.
So that's the Lord works in mysterious ways, blessing in disguise.
All that.
Whatever phrase you want to use.
All that.
Yeah, that lit the fire.
Because I never even thought about owning my own business. Never thought about it. Did think about, properties, and I should invest in properties because that's what my peoples do. So I'm like, and I'm still going to do that. It's just, that's not a passion for me. The only reason I really want to invest in properties, again, so I could give back.
Service.
Because I don't understand why we don't have no transitional housing here. And if we do, why is it the best kept secret? Because they say we do, but I don't know nothing about it. And if I don't know nothing about it, then a whole bunch of other people don't. I don't know why we have a homeless population in Steubenville. Ridiculous for us to have a homeless population. Ridiculous. And we have places in this community. I don't like to just throw folks' names out. But we have places in this community who has all these different properties. Why we got a homeless community? Why I see people sleeping outside? Why is there people sleeping down by the river? Shame on us. Shame on us as a city as a whole. Shame on us. Shame on the powers that be that can make things different. So, I don't even know where we was going with that. I just got fired up about the homeless.
No, that's good. That's good.
I just got fired up about the homeless, y'all. I do. It really burns it does something to me. We're too small.
It's a passion.
We're too small. We should not have the issues that we have here. We should not. Y'all so focused on weird shit. Y'all focused on dumb shit. We wouldn't have all these gangs and all these crimes if y'all took care of your business when you were supposed to. If y'all did what y'all supposed to do when y'all supposed to been doing it, instead of down here trying to run around and get with the women. You know what I mean? If y'all officials would have just been officialing, maybe we wouldn't have, because we're too small to have a huge amount of anything. Nip that shit in the bud real quick. You know what I'm saying?
If it was priority.
And we're not. So we have to make each other a priority. So we got to do it for each other. And I love what's happening in the city. I love what's happening because I see us doing it for each other. And we might be, slow building, and, we might be looking over our shoulder, and we might be like, judging that one, but we still doing it.
I see it.
In the midst of judging, in the midst of looking over our shoulder, in the midst of the hating, we still doing it. So that's all I want to see. Keep moving. Let's just keep moving forward. Stay woke.
I see it now more than ever.
For sure.
Personally, I see it. I mean, I'm involved in it. I definitely see it. I want to go back because we talked about Heavenly Rise, but that's not all you're doing. What else you got going on?
CJ, we're going to be honest. In particular moment, that is all I'm doing. I also have a girls group called In My Sister's Grace. Now, when it originally started, it was something that I thought of years ago, like 97. I was in prison in 97, and I got out in 2000. When I was in prison, there was young girls, 13. I'm talking about young girls, and they have their own little wing, and they lifers. They doing 60 years. They doing 50 years. They just doing crazy Buck Rogers time because everybody dropped the ball on them. They didn't kill their uncle because he was molested them. They was out there tricking, so they killed the dude who was trying to rape them. Even though they was tricking, you can still get raped when you trick. Y'all need to know that. You know, it's not, if I'm saying no, it's rape. People think that if you out here and you in the streets and you put yourself in certain situations that you get what you got coming to you. Nah, that's not true. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and you can't change that shit for nobody. When I was in prison, I knew I wanted to do something for them. I didn't want them to be in prison no more. So I wanted to create something, and I knew I couldn't do that, but I wanted to create a place that you could go and get all the things that you needed so that you wouldn't end up there. You know, you could get somewhere to sleep, a nice bed and something to eat, and counseling and therapy and schooling and whatever you needed. Teach them different trades and all that. And I wanted to call it the revolving door, because that's what they say prison is. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would change. Me as a young girl, how unprotected I was, how victimized I was, how much that I was a volunteer victim. I knew that if all that didn't happen, I might not have turned out how I did.
What do you mean volunteer victim?
A victim is somebody who has had something done to them, wronged. In any kind of way. You know, you've been victimized, been wronged in any kind of way. After a while, you get so used to that you start wronging yourself and going out and, do you tell your story, Helena? You know, just going out, like, as a kid, you know, I was molested, raped, whatever you call it. I went through some stuff in my family. So I ran away and I didn't stay with my family. And because of that, a lot of things started happening. Like, I'm living on the streets, and I'm living in LA at the time. We grew up in LA. Like, that's where I grew up.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up, like, my mom died when I was 5. She died in 78, and I moved to California with my dad. We grew up in Linwood, California. There was a lot of stuff that happened. A lot of stuff. But after a while, I was so used to it that I did stuff. Or I allowed stuff to happen, or I initiated things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I call that a volunteer victim.
I got you. Because
it all stemmed from being victimized. Had I never had that initial victimization, and had it not continued, I most likely, let's say I most likely wouldn't have done the things that I did to victimize myself and the people around me. Because not only, you know, the people around me was not safe. You know what I'm saying? I just was reckless and recluse. And I used to tell my friends, you know, I was raised by wolves. And that's what I say, because I ain't had no mom. I had a stepmom, and my stepmom is the only mother I know. And I know that she loved me the best she could. And that wasn't that great. That wasn't that great, you know.
Again, I applaud you, because I know it's not easy, you know, to get on here and tell your story. I think your story is extremely powerful, but I think it's more importantly, I think it's important. First of all, people are hesitant to openly speak about their trauma. Your mindset is, if it can help somebody, let's talk about it. I'm sure it's not easy to get there, because, again, it ain't everybody's business.
And
that's
for
how
me,
we operate.
I think it's more of everybody else. Like, you know, I don't want to offend anybody in my family.
I got you.
You know, anybody who knows me and knows my story and knows what part they play in it. I don't want to offend nobody. I don't hold no ill will towards a soul, because I done did some shit and I need grace. I need to be forgiven, you know. So I forgive. I don't care nothing about none of that. You can't do none of that stuff to me today. Do any of that stuff and it's up. So I don't care. Can't nobody hurt me now. But I care about how it looks or how it feels for anybody in my family. I got siblings, you know what I mean? And I have sisters and brothers from my dad. So I don't never want to hurt them either with none of the things that I say. Words have power, so I have to use them. I cannot let them fester inside of me, because they got power. So if they got power and they just sitting inside of me, that's just power bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. What the hell's it gonna do? It's gonna burst and burst me? I can't do that. So, you know what I mean? I gotta use my words, and I gotta be, I said 2025, I'm intentional on my transparency. I gotta be totally transparent, because we ain't got a lot of time. And I want to help as many as I can help before I go. That's what I want my legacy to be. Not that I was the lady who lost her daughter, you know, not I was the lady who took in her grandkids, not I was the lady who was victimized and traumatized, not who lost her dad to drugs, not who lost her mom at 5. I don't want to be none of that. I want to be the lady that helped as many as she could, just because she should, just because it's the right thing to do, just because I didn't for so many years, just because I took for so many years. I don't deserve to still be here in my mind sometimes. I know I shouldn't be by any means, the streets mine, but I don't deserve to continue to take. It's my duty to give back. It's my duty to serve. And I think it's everybody's, flat out. I think it's everybody's, and I think it's selfish when we don't.
And I agree 100%. You mentioned something powerful, that you want your legacy to be everything that you mentioned. But you control what your legacy is going to be. Because your legacy easily could have been all the trauma that you mentioned. Like, the people that you hurt because of the people that hurt you. And, you mentioned going to jail, and that could have been Lean's legacy. Like, just statistic, whatever, any of that.
Most definitely.
And I think more people need to understand that you write your own story. You tell your own story. You write your own story. You don't let anybody write it for you. You don't let anybody tell it for you.
And you ain't got to write it in pen. You can write it in pencil with an eraser. You know what I mean? So you can erase some of that shit. Some of that shit don't have to stay there. It ain't got to be your permanent page. All the things I did ain't my permanent page. That was just things I did. That's not who I am. Who I am is the character that I show up with every single day. Who I am is the person that smiles every time I see somebody. Even when I'm feeling low. Most people don't know how I'm feeling. Most people that see me throughout my days don't know how I'm feeling. Trust me. My grandfather used to say, one of my thoughts are bust your head wide open. I said, this motherfucker crazy. He talking about. But for real. You know what I mean? I feel that today. So most people don't know what page I'm on that day, but you will always know that when I see you, it's love. It's love. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's up, baby? That's you.
What's going on, my love? Yes. How you doing, my love? You know what I'm saying? Because I want people to know that I love them just because you here. I love you on purpose. You know what I mean? I just love you, and it's all good. You don't have to give me nothing for it.
And that goes back to...
Just give it to somebody else.
Your life matters. Your life matters. That was the tension this was like 60s race tension, like, because it was the line. It was black people and it was, non-black people. It was Black Lives Matter, and if you didn't agree with that, then you was a racist. That's what it was. You had the courage in this city, to your life matters, your life matters, your life matters. And that struck a chord with me. Like I said, I wanted to be out there with you. I'm literally watching from my phone like, man, I should be out there with her. And I had never done anything.
And me neither.
Anything like that. Yeah. And
I joined the NAACP because of that. Because I wanted to make a difference.
Same.
Because I did want things to change, and I wanted to be part of the catalyst for change. I didn't want to just talk about it and say, well, you ain't did this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this. I'm my worst critic because I don't. Some of those negative tapes that were said to me or given to me throughout the years that I've given to myself, I play them a lot. So I've never deemed myself very educated. People think that I'm a really good speaker.
You are.
I don't like speaking. But once I get going, it is what it is. I'm going to speak, But I don't like speaking because I don't really feel educated. I am learning to love me more than what I believe. I'm learning to, they have another saying in NA, and they say, I'll love you till you can start loving yourself. I appreciate that. Because I don't love myself a lot of days. I surround myself people who will love me, will lift me up, bring me up, and tell me what I need to hear about myself, and tell me and list my, my achievements, because they don't always mean something to me. I don't see them the way everybody else does. It's like, but if they only knew who I was, I always have that little piece of if they only knew who I was. Well, they do know who I am. So I gotta stop doing that to myself, because you guys do know who I am. I show you all parts of me at any given moment. Any given moment. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta stop self-sabotaging myself. Me and so many others do it because we're afraid to succeed. And we're afraid to succeed because we don't know what it looks like in our lives. Generational curses. You don't know what it looks like regularly going through. You might have one person who went to college here. You might have one person who worked and did good here. You know what I mean? But majority, we all ran the same race.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it, you can't be it. Yeah. I really want to start being more intentional on loving myself the way everybody else loves me, and seeing myself through everybody else's eyes, because I don't always see that, feel that, know that wholeheartedly. But who does?
But a lot of what you're saying is we have problems communicating and giving flowers. And with that said, I started to give you flowers at the beginning, and then we went into the to you matter. I had asked you if you thought you would be here today, if it wasn't for Jerron, and you said, your purpose is your purpose. And I want to expand on that and touch on that, because I mentioned I had never done anything civil work or community work. I never done it. We mentioned the NAACP. Well, you were in front of the courthouse. You were doing your thing, and we end up like throwing a rally or something like that in front of the courthouse as well. You end up coming down. You end up speaking. You had the megaphone in. You end up speaking. I wanted you to speak. Without that movement, to me, and I'm only speaking for me. For me, that you started it because I seen you, and Jerron started it, but I seen you. You inspired me on my phone in my office at Huntington Bank, actually. You said the purpose is the purpose. So I don't know, but I don't know if I'm right here on the Legacy Lounge on the podcast talking to you right now. And this is the reason I say that. When Blake approached me, it was based off of what he perceived my brand was. Okay. And how people were reacting to me or responding to me of things I was doing in the community, and we wanted, hey, let's take advantage of it for the good. Let's inspire. That's a byproduct of the work that I put in from 2020 to 2023, 2024, and the work I put in that time was inspired by you being in front of the courthouse with a megaphone telling people that their lives matter.
Shit like that.
Separation is and I never got to tell you that, because we've talked plenty of times. But who I am now, like getting off, get off your ass and go do something, was inspired by watching you on my phone out there doing something with a megaphone. Damn. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because that's powerful. That's powerful. What I see you do. And the changes that I see you trying to make within the community, and the lead and the charge that I see you take, to know that I have my hand in there any kind of way, is just like, it's stuff like that when I say you never know who's watching, it's stuff like, when I say you don't know who's watching, it's not about who's watching, it's about who's watching, because see, the Bible says, when I send with you a comforter. So he's put a comforter inside of us, which is the Holy Spirit. I'm not a big Bible person, but I love God and I love the Word, because I know that is the only way I'm going to get to the other side of where I'm trying to be. I need God. He's the only one keeping me standing. I know that. He kept me when I was in the trenches. So, he's definitely keeping me now. So when he says that I sent with you inside of you a comforter, that's the most powerful thing that I could ever have, because what I need is already inside. What you need to be who you were designed to be, because we ain't all going to do what we were designed to do and be who we were designed to be. We're just not all going to do it. It's not the way the world works. But when the moment that you realize that what you have, what you're designed to be, is already there, the way that it's supposed to come out, the way that it's going to transition into this world is already there. You just got to hone into it. You just got to know that it's there, and you deserve it. You got to know that you deserve wealth. He didn't mean for nobody to be broke. He didn't put this earth, this beautiful planet here for us to be broke. So you deserve wealth. You deserve love. You deserve kindness. You deserve empathy. Like, if you know that you deserve all those things, then it's easy for you to get that shit away. Easy for you to give it away. And I'm sorry, I love to cuss, y'all. It's one thing that I don't think that I'll probably ever quit, because I love cussing. Call me Papa.
That's all right, man. Blake gonna do the editing. That's passion, and you can hear the passion when you speak.
Yeah, what else? I start at 5 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. What else do you like
that I'm working on at this moment?
No, that you want to talk about. That you want to make sure that you get across before we let you go.
So I said I wore this shirt to be intentional too.
Okay.
Because I wanted to remind myself to speak about the cancer that she had. I don't want to go into like long drawn out stuff about it, but she had a very rare cancer, and it was called renal medullary carcinoma, and it is found in young people who have sickle cell or the sickle cell trait. That is what they have found. It is so rare. There's only about maybe 400 cases in the world, The only place that they do clinical trials is the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. And in order to get into those trials, you have to be a resident of that state for 3 months. Well, someone suffering from renal medullary carcinoma can't go without treatment for 3 months. So it doesn't, really suit you well if you don't live there. So I know for me, I always thought that her having a sickle cell trait meant don't marry nobody who got the sickle cell trait because your kids could have sickle cell. That's all I really knew about it. Not knowing that because of that mutation, there could be other things that could happen to you. So through the years, she got kidney infections. Through the years, she had bladder infections and things like that. And it wasn't anything that we took serious pause to because we didn't know. And I know there's still a lot of people that don't know it. And sickle cell is mainly found in African Americans. Mm-hmm. So we need to be aware that when, if you find yourself having too many kidney infections, if you find yourself just not feeling yourself, make sure that you go to the doctor. Make sure that you're getting those checkups, those yearly checkups that most of us don't do. But just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because that was something that I did not teach my children. I did not teach them how important health was. Basic, but I didn't know it. There were things that I did not learn as a child because there was no one there to teach me. When I had, started my cycle as a young girl, I thought it was God punishing me because I grew up Catholic. A lot of people didn't know that either, but I went to Catholic school, I was confirmed, all that. But I thought that was God just being angry at the way things were going for me. I did not know what administration was because I was not taught that. So there were a lot of things that I didn't get taught for whatever reasons that I didn't teach my children. I did not teach them how important their health was. Once they became, got out of school and didn't need them physical forms and didn't need this, we only went to the doctor if something was wrong. We didn't go for yearly checkups. And so I didn't ingrain that in them. So they didn't know to do that when they became adults. I try to tell them how important it is, but I didn't do that with her. And she took her health for granted. And she didn't pay attention to what was going on with her body because she just assumed it to be something else. But if you're getting your checkups and you're getting your mammograms and you're getting your colonoscopies when the time comes and you're getting the things that, you need to do, you're going to the dentist because your mouth is connected to every stuff. So while you thinking that not brushing your teeth just means you're going to have bad breath or rotten teeth, no, dog. It can do something to your bloodstream. It could do something to your organs on the inside. So there are things that we could prevent by just doing basic care. And we have the opportunity to do so. There were so many of us prior to us being around that didn't have the opportunity to have basic care. We have the opportunity. And I'm gonna give you one even greater than that. Not only do you have the ability to, if you get the medical card, any of them medical things, CareSource, Unisom, all them different ones, they give you money every time you go to your appointment. Every yearly appointment that you make for your kids, every appointment you make for yourself, they give you like $200-$300. They don't give you no chump. You get some money for just going and doing what you're supposed to do. So if that's an incentive, sometimes we need an incentive. I know I do, because once I found out that you get money, we kind of do it regularly.
Hey, Doc.
Sad. But I'm just saying, there's things I still drop the ball on. I'm not perfect by no stretch of the imagination. But what I will do is say that I allow myself to be fallible. I allow myself to make mistakes. I'm honest about them because I've been a liar most of my life. But I'm honest about the things that I say and do today. I can't always say that, how you say it, this has something to do with my character too. When you say I'm going to be somewhere and you can take that to the bank, don't take it to the bank if I said it. Don't take it to the bank because I might not show up. I might not go. I might not come. I might not do it. And I hate that about myself right now. But I know it.
Hold up. So you saying you ain't coming to the party?
Oh, I'm coming to the party.
Oh, all right.
I'm coming to the party because this is and I said, this year I'm going to find my joy again. I allowed myself to be afraid of joy, afraid of true laughter, afraid of connections because I thought it was wrong. Because I thought it would be slighting Pam.
I understand.
If I had any type of, real connections, real laughter, real joy. So the minute I thought I was feeling some of that, I would shy away. You know, friends that I've had for 30 years don't really see me anymore. And it's not nothing that they did. It's just I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. And I don't want to be the person who always gives that off when we in a setting. Because when you with your homies, you know, you butt naked raw. You know what I mean? So if I'm in a messed up space, they know it. If we're together, because I'm gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? I'm on snot bubble or whatever I need to do, and I don't think that they always deserve that. I don't need to be that to, you know, bring the party down all the damn time. So I don't know. Pam changed me. Pam is, and I'm trying to figure out who I am today. Is what that is.
You mentioned before about being aware of what you deserve. You're a giver. You serve. You know, you serve with a purpose, but you deserve to have a good time. You deserve to smile. You know, you're raising kids. You said you have 51 raising kids again. You deserve that. So I want to make sure you come out and to the party and make sure you enjoy that, because you do deserve that. And it don't have to be the party. I don't care what you do. Go fishing.
I'm coming.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy, you deserve that. And I think a lot of times, myself included, fall victim to not like following our own advice. You know, like great at giving advice, but I'm terrible at following my own advice. You deserve to have a good time. You deserve to smile, you know, and you deserve to pat yourself on the back. And I'm sure Pam would be proud of you for, you know, for doing that. So I don't want to hold you too late, because I know it's Heavenly Rise at 5 a.m.
Okay.
And the kids watch the kids at the crib. This was powerful.
Thank you.
I needed this for sure, and I really take a lot away from this. Your courage and you being vulnerable to come under the lights, you know, and sit and share your story with me. I don't take that for granted. So I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for even asking me. Like, it's a huge honor. You know, it's an honor for me to be here. I don't take it lightly. You know, I'm touched. I'm deeply moved. I'm excited to watch this thing blow up, y'all. I see so much for you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys on the big stage and you call me back.
It's a revolving door. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It's an open door. Yeah. So, you know, it don't have to stop here. You know what I mean?
It's not gonna stop here.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. So we got each other's number.
I hear your passion. I hear and I see you guys.
I appreciate it.
You know, too many of us don't let each other know. I see you, baby. I see what you're doing. I see you shaking. I see you moving. I see you not falling victim to, you know, what everything has to offer. You know, life shows up and it will knock the wind out your sails. But I see the grace. I see the grown man. And I mean that with you too over there, Speed. I see the grown man. You know, I've seen you through the years. I know what you done growed through. You know what I'm saying? And I see that the footprint that you guys are leaving is going to be something that's talked about for a very long time. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here in my Uncle Bubba voice.
I really appreciate that. I'm usually good with words. I'm at a loss for words right now, but I appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, I wrap it up and I say the word, you know, I'm Legacy Lounge, so we always use, you know, legacy at the end. But this is, you know, living proof of writing your own story and controlling your own legacy. We left a lot of meat on the bone. Like we could have went, you know, we could have went further back and went through a lot of things, and there's still time. But end result is you're doing what your purpose is. You know, her purpose is to serve, and you're living out your purpose. And at the same time, you know, you're living through your daughter. We talked about the impact that she left, and I don't want you to shortchange your impact that you left too.
Thank you.
There's value behind doing the right thing, and there's value in being a good person. And don't let nobody take that from you. You know, and if it is, those are the people you don't want to be around.
Exactly.
But man, Legacy Lounge, man, you know, man, we just doing what we doing. We connecting and we try to make a difference. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. I always say like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
We got the hoodies.
Get you a
hoodie. We got the t-shirts.
Get you a t-shirt.
I can make you any color.
He can make you any color.
www.legacyloungemedia.com. If you ain't hit March 15th, Frolics 8 to 1. That's my birthday party. That's my actual birthday, and it's going to be the best party y'all probably ever been to, and I stand on that. I appreciate you, Lean.
Thank you.
I appreciate all of y'all. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Legacy Lounge.